On episode 26 of the podcast, I'm going to talk about track cycling, teeth brushing and braking and entering. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Luke Who's Talking podcast with me. Luke, how are you going? Now, the pop filter is back. However, I'm actually holding it in front of the microphone because I can't seem to get it into the position I want on my boom arm here, which is really annoying. So I'm holding it up in front of my mouth, in front of a microphone. So there's going to be a lot less jazz hands happening in the in my recording space for this episode. That's for sure. Anywho, now let's get into the first story. Now, a couple of weeks ago, a friend and I went to the local, what can I call it? It's a multi-purpose entertainment complex, could I say? I don't know. You know, they play basketball there, netball. There's a bicycle track around the outside, like one of the banked ones. They have concerts and things there, so it's a multi-purpose sort of facility we went to in the city, or on the outskirts of the city. And my friend and myself went there, and we had a go at riding around the bicycle track. So they have a banked circuit bike track around the outside of the tennis courts and netball, basketball court and stuff in the middle. So we went and had a crack at that. And it was interesting. It was rather interesting. So I ride a bike, but my bike's a mountain bike, so my tyres are have some width to them. However, these track bikes that you have to ride on the circuit have narrow tyres like road bicycles do. So something I'm not used to, and no gears, no brakes on the bikes. It's just pedals, sprocket, chain, sprocket, rear wheel, pedal, go. So if you want to slow down, you have to slow down your pedaling. And then, of course, when you want to get off the bike, you have to be going really slow and sort of put one foot down and stop yourself like that. You can't freewheel it. So some bikes you pedal and you can just stop pedaling, but you'll keep rolling. It doesn't happen on these track bikes. So that was something to get used to. The handlebar setup was something to get used to as well. I had the drop bars on my bikes, just a flat bar straight across the handlebars, so that was interesting. So there's a couple of things to get used to. Anywho, so we got some bikes, got on the track. Now we stayed. Now how the circuit is, there's like a blue bit of a blue apron, I suppose you could say, around the outside that, which is flat and has a very slight bank to it, and then maybe a ruler's length off of that, or there's the wood. Well, the wood starts straight off the blue, and then maybe a ruler's width off that. There's a black line, and then maybe a meter and a half of that. There's I think it was red, and then further up again there was blue, and then right at the top's the the top of the track, which is as high up as you can go, and that's the steepest. The highest up you can go. Is it the steepest? I'm not really sure. Anyway, so I was just staying on the blue apron, going around and just sort of learning the bike, the track, all that jazz. Now, what happens is when you go up onto the wood, you have to be going, especially in the corners, you have to be going faster so you can get round them without falling off. That's pretty much it. You have to be pedaling harder, you have to be pedaling faster to keep yourself on the circuit. So I was just staying on the blue, minding my own business, and I was catching up to somebody. It was actually really funny because when we got there, one of the guys was like, "Oh, keep an eye over your shoulder for people coming up behind you," which other people there weren't really doing. But hey, what do you do about it? So I was going around the track. I was on the blue, and there was somebody in front of me on the blue, and I was catching up to them, and I caught up to them near a corner, and I made the decision. Wrongly, I'll be honest, made the decision to go up the track onto the black line, which is the lowest line. Going into the corner, I wasn't going fast enough, and the bike went boom straight from underneath me. I hit the track and had a little bit of a slide down the circuit, and had a little bit of bleedy elbow. And when I got home and took my cycling trousers off, I had a bit of a sore knee as well. I had a hit on my back as well, and I think my hip as well. But it's all okay now. I got a couple of scabs, but they're healing up nicely. But yeah, I was going around the track and sort of decided to go high, wasn't going fast enough, and then without warning, the bike, she just goes whoop straight out from underneath you, and I went bang and hit the track. Had a little bit of a slide down it, and yeah, fun times, super fun. But look, it was an interesting experience. It was something different for sure, and yeah, I'll probably go back and have another go. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm sure you can all remember, and I think it was episode 2 or 3, reasonably early on in the podcast, I spoke about going to a local store, going into Valoo, and there was a gentleman there. He had no shirt on. Yeah, interesting. Well, similar story, could I say? I was in another town. I was in another city. Me, myself, my mum, and my brother. We went for a road trip up the coast to one of the coastal towns. Or was it a city? I don't know. It's a big town, we'll say that. We went there, had a look around, and they'd recently done some new buildings. They'd rebuilt the council building and library area and whatever else. It's quite nice. So we went in there, and I had to go to the loo. So I walked into the loo, and what did I see? I didn't see a shirtless man. However, I did see somebody brushing their teeth. Yeah. There was a guy in there, probably early 20s, brushing his teeth. And I was like, what is this guy doing? Was he brushing his teeth? Yeah, maybe he had to go to court. I don't know. Excuse me. Maybe he had to go to court. Who knows? But yeah, he was there. He was he was brushing his teeth. I thought it was very interesting, very funny. And I immediately, my goodness, thought of the story of the shirtless man I saw, which I think was back in episode 2 or episode 3. I can't quite remember. It was early on in the podcast's life, that's for sure. But yeah, so I went into the loo, and there was a guy there who was he was brushing his teeth. Hey, maybe his house doesn't have a sink, or it's just absolutely filthy. I don't know, but yeah, that was very it was very interesting for sure. Yeah. Right, so let's speak about a breaking and entering of sorts. So my brother, he was around home here the other day, and he was going to go, and he was looking for his keys, and he's like, he had no idea where they were. So I went out and checked, and lo and behold, there they were in his car, locked in his car. So we thought, how are we going to get into this vehicle? Locked car. Keys in it. How are we going to get into it? So the old man come out with his bit of wire, trying all this stuff, and I said, that's not really going to work. It's not really working. So what we did is, my brother has a ute and has like a little bit of an extra cab, they call them, or space cab, whatever. And so we managed to get the back window open. It's like a little flip out sort of thing. And Dad had his wire in there, trying to hook it onto the door lock, and it wasn't really working. So what I did is I got my hand in the window, the back window, and stretched out as far as I could, and I was just missing the door latch. Just couldn't quite reach it to lift it up. I have quite long fingers, apparently, and I was just very, very close. I couldn't quite lift it up. So we thought, right, that's we're close, but no cigar. So I grabbed Dad's bit of wire off him, tried to hook that onto the door latch and lift it up. Wasn't working. So I thought, right, do we have any pliers? We need some pliers. So we went and got some pliers. I put my hand back in the window, stretched out as far as I could, and had the pliers. Managed to grab them on the doorknob and lift it up and unlock the door. Woo! There you go. Maybe I should become a locksmith or something or rather like that. I don't know, a lock guy. I don't know if you're having trouble with getting into your car, give us a call. But it's actually interesting because my brother's car is an older vehicle, and it had, the door button is on top of the door skin, whereas of course newer cars, the door latch is where the door handle is. So if it was a more newer car, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And also, if it was a newer car, no doubt there would have been an alarm going like that. So that wouldn't have worked very well at all. But managed to unlock the door, managed to get in the car, retrieved his keys, and he was able to drive back home. Woo. Well, that is it for this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. You can follow us on Twitter. We're on Facebook, so you can send me an email, of course, as well. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time for some more lols. Should I say lols? I don't know, some more stories of various things that have happened. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, so I'll catch you later. Bye.